I've built an insanely detailed modern style house and medieval house, and well, I think it's time to build something on a much larger scale, a frickin' castle, mate. Once again, we will be using display entities to add in all kinds of crazy impossible details, but I want to do things a bit differently this time. What I'm going to do instead is create the castle using regular Minecraft blocks and add details in with display entities. And quite frankly, I'm excited as hell, so let's just get straight into it. And also, unlike in my previous most detailed frickin' build videos, this time around I'm going to build it in an actual world instead of in a void world because, well, I want to try and find the perfect spot to build this freaking thing, okay? Like, I'm wanting something like this, like a little island surrounded by water, and then we have land kind of outside of that to make it look like a properly defended castle of sorts. So I'm going to do a little bit of scouting around and try and find the perfect bloody location, okay? All right, and well, that didn't take very long at all. I think I found the absolute perfect freaking location right here. I love the size of this island and the position and everything. All right, so the next course of action is going to be, well, cleaning up this island. Right now we do have like a weird structure here. I don't exactly know what this is. I think it's like a little mausoleum kind of thing. Yeah, it is. And well, the first course of action in cleaning up this island is going to be with the, where is it? Script brush. Very helpful, very handy. It's also got a bunch of pre-built little presets here. One of them being clear foliage. So we're going to make this quite big and we're just going to simply paint around this entire island, and that is just easily going to remove all of the grass, the trees, the leaves, all of that crap, and bang, there it is. It's freaking gone. Next, what I'm going to do is remove this structure. So let's just select the entire thing and we'll go set 0. Bang. See you later, dickhead. And we do have all these rocks everywhere, but I'm not too fussed because right now what we can do is just go to the elevation tool. I'm going to set the mode to flatten, and the rate, I'm going to increase the rate just so it's a little bit quicker. And we're going to pick a height. I'm thinking maybe this height here. We're just going to hold left click and then start drawing. And it's just going to simply match all of the surrounding landscape that I paint to that height. And we do have a big gaping hole in the middle here because there's, well, looks like a bit of a cave underneath. But what we can do to fix that is actually use the flood fill tool, if I can find it. There, this one, flood fill. And then we can simply just, well, click here, and that's just going to fill up all of that underground cave there with stone. Perfect. And next what I'm going to do is just go over the island with the smooth tool and just kind of smoothen off all of these edges a little bit. And now the final step of, well, cleaning up this land is going to be the painter tool. We're going to set our block over to grass and simply replace all of these blocks here with grass. And well, there we go. We now have a nice island to build our castle on. And well, I just got straight into planning out our castle, which actually ended up taking about 3 hours because I kept changing my goddamn mind. I did eventually settle on this idea, having a diagonal castle with towers at all corners, but once again, scrapped that for something more interesting. I ended up finally settling on this L-shape idea that I had and continued playing around with the position of the tower and the heights. I then got the walls built up and changed the block palette around quite a bit. Alright, and well, a very long time later, this is where we are at so far. So I've got the main castle blocked out, all of the walls and towers pretty much, you know, fully filled in, just needing the details, of course. But what I actually wanted to start doing is playing around with some of the display entities to get this looking, well, to get some freaking impossible detail added in here. So we're gonna, with the Axiom mod, by the way, is what I'm using for this. I'm gonna hold Alt and I'm gonna click on Create Display Entity. We're gonna go over to Block Display and well, this is already set to stone, so I'm just going to leave it at that and click done. And that's going to spawn this display entity right at my feet. And the cool thing with this, well, if you haven't seen my other videos or know what display entities are, it's basically just a block that you can walk through, but you can position it wherever the hell you want. So I can put it inside blocks. I can also rotate this exactly how I want it, and I can resize it and make it huge if I want to as well. And so this is exactly how we're going to add in all kinds of impossible details to this castle. And so the first thing I want to do here is, instead of having these like jagged blocks, I want to have basically slopes between them. So what I need to do is, well, make this a little bit bigger, and then I want to rotate it and position it so that it's basically like sloping between the two blocks. You can see I still need to resize it a little bit more here, and I do need to play around with the positioning quite a bit to get it exactly perfect. But this is basically my idea and how exactly we're going to get this castle with some crazy impossible detail. All right, well, that's looking pretty good to me. What I want to do now is, well, just duplicate this up a bunch of times to get our, like, kind of sloped edge added along this entire thing. One way that we can make this quicker is group it all together and then duplicate the entire thing, and that's going to give us, you know, well, it's just going to make it a lot quicker, you know what I'm saying? All right, and then we have the slope for our first little bit of the tower there, looking very, well, impossible, I might say. And so the next one that I want to do is, well, right in this corner here, So let's spawn in another stone block. And all we're going to do is just rotate this one. And I'm going to have to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. That's looking pretty good. And now we're just going to do the exact same thing. Just continue duplicating this up. All right, and there we go. There's that rounded edge there. And now essentially what I want to do is just group all of this together. I'm going to duplicate it, move it over to this side. Actually, the way that we flip this is by doing this. Bang, there we go. Okay, I was trying to figure it out for a second there. There we go. Now we should be able to just position this right there. Perfect. Look at that. There we go. There's our rounded tower. Well, so far, we're not exactly done yet. But now the idea is that we group these two together. So let's just group all of that onto this here. And now we can once again do the exact same thing. So we've got our rounded edges. We can rotate this 45 degrees and position it in line with this side of the tower right there. I think that is it. Now, the reason why this has changed color is because, well, basically it's just shit. What we can do is just edit properties, override brightness, set the sky brightness to 15. Oh, you mongrel. Why has it only done that one? There we go. I just moved it out a tiny bit and that seems to have fixed it. And now we're just going to continue doing this exact same thing on every single side to get, well, a pretty nicely rounded tower here. All right, and there we have it. That is our rounded tower. That looks so weird. But honestly, that looks awesome. That is, oh, that's so cool. Now, we definitely do need to add some details in here, with the first one that I want to add being some windows. Now, I don't want just any plain old boring freaking windows here. I want to add, of course, some block entity details to these. I just don't exactly know what yet. I know that most castles, they kind of have like a little kind of slit window that looks a little bit like that. So I kind of need to just quickly think of like a cool idea, I guess, for this. All right, I figured it out. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to have like a nice arch kind of window design. So I want this to be a little bit taller. Yeah, I might actually completely redo this. There we go. That's a bit better. So now to get that rounded arch, what I'm going to do is once again spawn in another freaking stone block here. And to make our lives a little bit easier, I'm just going to duplicate this window out all the way out here, just so we can group our arch together without having to worry about grouping up all this other crap too. So now let's get to work on this arch design. And basically the way that we're going to be doing this is we're going to get one 45-degree angle block first. I'm going to put that right in the corner. You can see we got two problems here. We got the flickering and we have the, well, it's turned like a different color. So to, once again, fix the color, we do that. To fix the flickering, we're just going to simply just barely put this inside the block like that. And there you go. Perfect. It looks like it's still in line. It's just a little fraction of a pixel inside there. So that's our first arch there. We're going to put the other one over there. Perfect. And now what we're going to do is we're basically going to smooth between those 2 points. Actually, I'm going to remove that one just so that we can, once we finish this side, we can just duplicate it on the other side. That's going to make life a lot easier. Now I'm going to hold control and I'm just going to rotate it one click inwards and essentially just position it where I think it should go. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up to give ourselves more room to make this arch a lot nicer. And that is essentially it right there. That is the arch. You can see we've still got a little bit of block flickering in here, so we can just kind of do that same thing to each of these, just offset them slightly from each other. Now we do have blocks kind of sticking out on the sides here, but it's not going to matter. Once we move it in, it'll be covered by those angled blocks anyway. So now what we can do is we can group all of this together. We can duplicate it. We're going to move it over to this side, and I'm also going to rotate the entire thing around. Perfect. There we go. So we have our nice arched window. That is looking awesome. If we wanted to add some more details to this, we could probably add like maybe a polished deep slate wall. Let's position this right in the middle. We're going to scale this down quite a bit, and then I'm just going to scale it up on the y-axis here to make a little bit of a pole. And then we can get some horizontal slats by just duplicating this and rotating it. There we go. So there's our bars for the window done. Next, what we can do is just, we'll probably actually duplicate this. I'm going to scale it out like that, and we're going to edit and change it over to a black stained glass. That is bloody beautiful if you're fucking asking me, mate. Perfect. There we go. There we have a nice little castle window. That is looking awesome. And we should be able to do is now just duplicate this whole thing and position it right here. And oh, you prick. Look at that. You mongrel ass bastard. Of course, the stupid archers. You absolute prick. All right, so we're going to have to solve that problem. Well, give me a bloody moment. All right, there we go. Problem solved. I just simply selected the entire arch and just squished it in a little bit more, and that's looking pretty good. Then we can do the same thing. Let's just position it right there. Perfect. Look at that. That is looking pretty freaking sweet. Now we can simply just duplicate this whole thing again into each and every window. Bang. Look at that. That is insane. That looks crazy. Now, when we do get further away, we do do have like a little bit of block flickering that we can't really do anything about. I think it's just the way that they're like rendered. So once we get close, the flickering goes away. But yeah, that's just the problem we got to deal with, you know? But that is looking so good. That doesn't even look like Minecraft. That's so weird. All right, now moving on to the top of the tower here. Let's just add in some extra little details. Like I think some stairs there would look quite nice. Now a way that we can enhance this is maybe by just adding in another stone block here. We can kind of just position this like there, I guess, to get like a more crazy looking stair. Now, because we do have the flickering on both sides here, what we need to do is just simply shrink this in a tiny bit. And there we go, problem frickin' solved. And we can add that same stair detail down here too. Dude, that looks so weird. Look at that. That is insane. But I love it. Actually, what we can probably do instead is once again just clone this section and move it over. Bang! Look at that. I think I do want this last one to stick down a little bit further. I think that looks a bit cooler. Now, the only problem is, well, how are we going to do this for the freaking diagonal ones? That's going to be a bit of a challenge. I do have an idea though on how we could do this. Let's clone this thing out here. So we have our whole thing. What I'm going to do is actually replace this stair block with a display entity instead. And we're basically just going to replace the existing actual stone stair with an imposter one. You know what I'm saying? So bang, there we go. And now what we can do is just group this all together, move this over here, and either, well, we could leave it like that, or we could see how it looks rotated 45 degrees. Yeah, see, it's a little bit whack. No, I think we'll be modest and we'll leave it facing this way. I think that definitely still looks good as well like that. Now, what can we do for the tops up here? I don't really know. Maybe let's get another stone block, or maybe even a stone slab here, and we'll put this on top like that. And then what we'll do is just simply scale it up a little bit. And that gives us something like that. What do we think about that? Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Ooh. That's awesome, actually. Oh yeah, dude. Check that out. That looks insane. Now, the last thing that I think I want to do is just add these same slopes up to the top here. I think that's just going to complete the entire look of it. So I'm going to quickly do that, and we'll see how it looks in a second. Okay, there it is. And I've also just gone ahead and pasted the tower on every single tower here. And man, even with a 7950 X3D and a 4090, I'm getting like 50 frames. It's kind of sad. So I do apologize. The performance is only going to get worse and worse throughout this video because we're not even halfway freaking done yet. But man, these towers, holy crap, they are looking awesome. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, this doesn't even look like Minecraft anymore. It's so weird, but so cool. All right, and well, the next detail that I want to add is going to be to the walls here. And all I simply want to do is just create a polished andesite block entity here. And I want to do a similar thing to what we did with our tower here. I just want to create like a diagonal wall thing, I guess. And then I'm going to duplicate this up a bunch of times. There we go, until we've reached the top, and there is our like slanted wall. That looks so weird, but so good. Now at the top here, I think what I want to do is just add a solid row of slabs like this. And then instead of just leaving this kind of like this, what I think would look really nice, I want to replace all of the tops of this with grass and just add heaps of plants and bushes all along the top of this. I think it's going to look really nice. Now we're going to have to duplicate this up again, and we'll probably change this over to a slab. That way the textures stay nice like that. And bang, there we go. We even have that diagonal up there too. I think that's going to look even better if we actually do it like that instead. Yeah, that is looking so good. That is so good and so weird. Now, the next thing I want to do is group all of this together. I'm going to duplicate, because I can't really group these two sides together. I'm just going to duplicate both of them, move them out here, and group them together out here. Or else we're going to freaking group all of this crap together as well. Now, what we can do is we can just simply add this on every single corner of every wall. It's going to be a pain in the butt, and it's probably going to make the game extremely laggy. I'm also going to have to do it on the other side over here too, around every single wall. Fuck me, why did I do this? Oh no, man. Alright, well, it's time to roll a frickin' time lapse and get all this crap done. Alright, so I just simply continued duplicating our diagonal wall and placing it on every single spot along all of the walls, and dude, once I got a couple full walls done, like, it just looks absolutely insane. Now, because my frames were getting worse and worse the more entities I added, I decided on only adding the top diagonal slabs on for the other side of the walls just to save on performance. And once all the slabs and walls were done, I then worked on replacing all of the tops of the walls with grass and added plenty of short and tall grass on top. Holy crap, does this look nuts. Like, that's actually... Oh, That is so weird looking. Just a full diagonal wall here in Minecraft is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Especially when it comes to these walls where there's like lots of angle changes. Oh my god, it looks so good. Especially from above. Like those diagonal... Oh, dude, it looks so good. I love it. I really wish I could have added all of these walls on the inside. Well, I definitely could have, but my performance is getting very, very bad. We're now in the 40 FPS range, and, well, once again, I haven't even started on the interior frickin' castle here yet. And, well, speaking of, I think it is time to just get started on this. Okay, so first thing I have, well, I've changed my mind a little bit once again. I was originally going to put a roof on this bit and on this bit, but I've kind of changed my mind. I want to do like a little bit more of a castle kind of look to this. I don't know, a roof just doesn't feel very castle-y to me. So I'm going to show you the way that I was actually building these, like how I got this diagonal block here and like how I easily planned out this entire thing. And that was with the Axiom shape tool. So over here, you can change the type of shape to solid or flat. We're going solid. We change this to cuboid. And now if I click and place this in, you can see our, well, our cuboid right here. And then another thing we can do is we can change the width here, but we can also do separate X, Y, and Z. And that way we can change all of this stuff independently. So we can make the height independent from the width and the, you know, depth as well. So what I want to do is basically add some little corner square towers onto this castle here. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. Now, the next thing I want to do is just add some details to this. Actually, what I might do instead is just actually add some texture to this. So we're going to set it stone, stone bricks, and andesite, the perfect texturing for any kind of castle. Now, I do actually want to add this texture to the entire castle. So what I might do instead is actually just go replace near 100, smooth quartz, and then with our texturing blocks, stone bricks, stone, and andesite. And that is just going to very nice and easily replace all of the blocks like that. All right, and well, now let's just start adding some details to these towers. So the first thing I'm definitely going to want to get is some crenellations, of course, and I'm just trying to figure out how exactly I want to do this. Actually, why don't we use some freaking display entities, man? What the hell am I thinking? Let's just spawn in a stone one. I might just use all stone for this and just change the block later. I do apologize if you can hear my kid in the background. And so I'm wanting something like, I don't really know how to describe it, but I can just bloody well show ya. Something like this. Oh, it's kind of hard to freaking... Like, I'm essentially wanting like a corner one here. Instead of just a solid block, I'm wanting like this, basically, like an L shape kind of thing. And of course, we have to deal with this freaking block flickering crap. But yeah, that right there is literally exactly what I'm wanting. So I'm just going to continue duplicating this and adding it onto every corner here. So just give me a bloody second. Now, it is a very subtle detail to notice, but, you know, it's the thought that counts. Essentially, you'll notice it's like a vertical slab here. That's pretty cool. So I just went ahead and did that and duplicated it over on this side. I've also added some crenellations along this area, but I don't know about you guys, but it's just looking a bit too fucking plain to me, that shit and this shit up here. So what I think it is time to do is paste in a freaking polished andesite slab here, and I want to slap this bad boy on top and essentially do what we did over there with that. So we're just going to make it a bit bigger here. I'm going to squash it down a little as well. And now to get this on the L side, yeah, it's going to be a bit harder because this texture, it has like these hard edges. We might have to use a different block for this, actually. One that doesn't have such defined edges. We might just do the same as the other towers and use stone instead. Yeah, with the polished andesite, we'd have a big line there and then another line there. But at least with the stone, for the most part, you can't really tell. All right, and well, once again, I'm just going to do the exact same thing and just, well, paste all of this crap on every single side. I'll get it added over here too, and I'll get these stone slabs added on top of all of these. All right, so there is all of those details added on, looking awesome. You may have noticed I have pre-cut a couple of spots here, and that is because I want to see how some of these windows are going to look there. Let's go ahead and clone this entire thing. I'm going to place it right here. Now, the only annoying thing is I'm going to have to go ahead and retexture all of this once again. But actually, I'm thinking that looks freaking sweet. Oh yeah, dude, that looks so good with the little arch there. That's... That is awesome. All right, what we can do here is go / replace stone, because it's mostly stone here, with stone bricks, and andesite once again, and bang, there's all our texture added back in. And now to get this same thing on the other tower, we can just copy all of this, paste it over here. Yeah, that's looking really cool. Now I'm thinking I do want to just quickly duplicate one of these towers, because I do want to place it maybe over here. Yeah, that's a nice little spot right there. As for this tower up over here, I do want to duplicate one of these towers and place it up there. So let's just do that real quick too. And bang, there we have it. Another tower up here. It looks like for some reason that hasn't copied over. That's freaking annoying. Oh, just that like perfect circular against the square ones. That looks so cool. And our frames are officially in the 30 to 40 FPS range. That's quite sad. Holy crap. All right, now as for some windows on this area, I'm thinking of adding like some of these slit windows, but usually you can only make them this long. And I think it'd be really cool to have them stretch up to be like maybe 5 blocks long. Maybe have 2 like kind of sections of them and they will go across like that. And so it should be pretty easy to do that. So that's gonna be our slats there. All we should need to do is just create a slab. We're gonna rotate this 90 degrees like so to make basically a vertical slab. Bang, there we go. Now the only annoying thing is that the textures kind of go this way instead of how they usually go this way, which I don't know, might make it look a little out of place. So a way to maybe fix that is to use walls instead. Let's just get an andesite wall, for instance. We'll rotate this back this way, and all we'd have to do is just stretch it this way, but then that also means that the texture on this face here is going to be stretched, so we kind of got to compromise, you know. But I think this should work a bit better. The only annoying thing is we can't get a stone wall, only andesite and stone bricks, but well, hopefully it won't be too noticeable, I guess. And there we go. So there's our big vertical slit, something you definitely usually could not get in vanilla Minecraft. Let's just go ahead and add some texture into this by changing some over to stone bricks, and bang, there we go. That is looking awesome. Now what I'm going to do is just group these together, duplicate this up to here, and yeah, there we go. So now I'm just going to continue doing this exact thing all the way across here. All right, and there we have our big slit windows. Dude, that looks so cool. I really love the way that looks. That is awesome. So I think I'm going to add that same detail all across here, as well as probably like a doorway there, doorway there. We'll add it along this wall too. Something as well that I'm going to do is add in some sloped things to make this nice and curved instead of, you know, how it's all jagged now. And we're going to do some really cool things to this diagonal building as well. And I think, well, just because my frames are getting exponentially worse, like we're in pretty much the low 30s now, I might just get the rest of this done as a time lapse just to make it look a little bit more watchable in terms of the frames. So yeah, let's get to all of those details right now. The next detail I got straight to work on was this curved section that would serve as one of the castle's entrances. With that done, I added some more of our slit window designs above, as well as adding plenty more crenellations to this giant rectangle. At this point, I needed to design an arch with display entities that we could use as a doorway, so I used a similar technique for the windows we made earlier. With the design completed, I placed it in here and then got straight to work on making this diagonal section of the building look a lot smoother. So all I did was create some separate angled pillars with different textures and then simply copied those onto the actual building itself just to make the process a bit quicker and easier. I then started adding in the same slit window design across the front of this building to add in a bit of detail, which was quite an arduous task actually. I also added a doorway in the middle here, as well as a bit of a balcony design above. Now once those details were sorted, I got to adding more crenellations to the building, along with adding another square tower design on the backside here. With the building pretty much done, it's time to take care of some of the exterior details like a smoothened pathway. My idea was to get rid of every jagged edge on the sides of the path, and I accomplished that with plenty of angled cobblestone display entities. I then wanted some sectioned off areas filled with grass, and for that I used some rotated stone brick walls. I decided on adding more of these where I could, like in between these towers here, as well as wrapping around the front of the angled building back over this way. Once those were done, I felt a couple of farms were definitely in order, so I found the best spots and started placing in some wheat, carrots, and beetroot. Now, taking a look at the building, I definitely felt it needed some greenery, and I accomplished that with a couple of scattered planter boxes simply filled with grass. Now, to add some of these on our diagonal building, I had to build one completely out of display entities here. With it built, I moved it down, rotated it 45 degrees, and placed it a couple of times. I added some final square planter boxes to our curved section over yonder, and then got back to adding in another farm over here. Now it was time for some landscaping. Firstly, with our island, I just simply wanted a nice bit of beach along the entire thing, so I just flattened off some land closer to the water and replaced it with sand. Now over here, I removed this guy's house and got to work essentially doing the same thing, flattening off land close to the water and replaced it with sand. Back on our island, I decided on fixing up this forest from my script brush work from earlier, and that gave me the idea to add some forest to the inside of our castle, of which I basically added everywhere I could. Right, well, just for comparison, here we are in a buttery smooth 100 frames per second, and as I start getting closer to our castle and rendering in all of the display entities, you can see it's steadily dropping. Holy crap, we're down to 20 frames per second. That is quite sad. Jesus Christ, man. Like, yeah, this is literally how I was building most of this crap from the pathway onwards, and yeah, it's not very fun to play in. So, yeah, addressing the elephant in the castle, as much as I would have loved to add an interior to this thing, I'm just not going to be able to because of the sheer amount of display entities we already have. But maybe for the future, in like a smaller kind of version of this, we'll definitely do an interior. So be sure to leave your ideas in the comments for a similar kind of project, I guess. Also, if you want to download this world and explore the castle for yourself, the download will be available on my Patreon. You're definitely just going to need a good computer though. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.